Hello again, this is Ken Turner from Milford, Ohio. We're going to look at who benefits when wrestling with God. What was the purpose? Genesis 32:22 to 32. Jacob wrestles with God here. I just got this thought. I received this thought. I've been thinking about this. Who benefits when wrestling with God? Who benefited? Did Jacob benefit? Did God benefit? Jacob definitely benefited. It doesn't say why this angel, this man showed up. Some believe Jesus Christ, the Messiah. But anyway, here he was in verse 22. He took his wives, all his servants, his children, everything across the stream. And in verse 24 it says, Jacob was left alone. And it says, a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. He wrestled with him all night. Jacob was left alone here. A place that he was alone. And he wrestled. He had a lot of turmoil going on in his life. He knew that he was getting ready to meet his brother, that he had took his blessing and his birthright. Of course, his brother gave him up willingly. But here it says a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. So here he was wrestling all night. This man wrestled with Jacob, fighting, trying to get loose. But was he really? He came here. This had to be for Jacob's benefit. God knew that Jacob had to be changed, that he didn't do all things honest and straightforward in his life. It says here that the man saw that he did not prevail with Jacob. In other words, Jacob was determined. He was determined to get something from this angel, from this man. Verse 26, then he said, let me go, for the day has broken. And in other words, this angel from the Lord said, let me go. Look, the light's coming forth again. You fought me all night. Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. I'm not stopping this struggle unless you bless me. Unless you bless me. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. And he said to him, what is your name? And he said, Jacob. And Jacob means deceiver, supplanter. And he said in verse 28, then he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. And Israel means God strives. For you have striven with God and with man and have prevailed. So this is powerful because at this point in Jacob's life, he didn't know if he prevailed or not. He worked for Laban for his wives and Rachel and Leah, and Laban his father-in-law had changed his wages multiple times. He had spent extra years there to get Rachel as his wife. And now he was going to face his brother that he had not seen, and he knew his brother was going to kill him when he left town before because he had taken his birthright and blessing. And he says, you have striven with God and with man. In other words, you've battled with man. You've fought to overcome with man. You received a birthright and blessing from your brother, your older brother. You've strived with Laban, which Laban was dishonest and tricked you into marrying Leah before you married Rachel, and then tricked you into working another 7 years for Rachel, and then still changed wages because he liked it because you were getting blessed there. He strived, and now here he strove with God also. He came to this place and wrestled with this angel, and he was determined. Jacob was determined in his life. He was determined for something to change, for a transformation, if you will. He wanted something different for his life. God, I have to have something. I'm not letting you go until you bless me, until something changes in my life. And he came to this point. I will not let you go until you bless me. And so here the angel of the Lord blesses him, changes his name from Jacob to Israel. And then Jacob asks him, please tell me your name. And he says, why is it you ask for my name? And then he doesn't give him his name. And he says, there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, for I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered. Here he wrestled with God. And the angel even told him, you wrestled with God and you wrestled with man, and you have prevailed. In other words, you held on until you received. And this is the turmoil of it. This is the turmoil of the spiritual significance of this. This benefit here of this wrestling experience that Jacob had with God was for Jacob's benefit, to transform his life. It was for no other reason but to transform his life. God knew the future of Jacob and his generations after him. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. These blessings came from God, that God chose Abraham. He chose Isaac. He chose Jacob. And this was the wrestling. This was the struggle. And that was the benefit. Who benefited? And see, each one of us have to come to this place where we wrestle with ourselves, our inner man, with others. And we have to come to a place, and realistically, we wrestle with God. Because, see, in our human hearts, we want to win. We want to be the leader. We want to be the one in charge. And we wrestle until a transformation happens in our life. This is the crux of the story here, this whole ideal of the story here, that he wrestled because he wanted something to change in his life. And many of us go through life, I have to have a change. Something's got to change in my life. And this is where many of us are. But many of us aren't willing to spend the time seeking the Lord. Getting to a place where we actually are intimate enough to even wrestle with the Lord. Because we have to overcome this flesh. We have to overcome our flesh to truly move into the spiritual aspects of our relationship with God. I know this is an odd message, but if you enjoyed this message, please subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up and make comments on what God's doing in your life. God bless you.